I'm with the DeKalb History Center, and I've been with the DeKalb History Center for about 7 years. The story of the founding of the city of Decatur really begins with the founding of DeKalb County, and DeKalb County was formed in 1822 after land was seceded from the original native peoples that were living here, and the city was the county seat founded out of that. The Muskogee tribe, including the Cherokee, were really here in Georgia from the Mississippian period. Between different land secessions and treaties, especially the Treaty of New Dakota, all these different treaties eventually pushed out the native peoples here, including the 1928 Trail of Tears, and they were forcibly removed. And after that, really out of that came DeKalb County. A lot of the early roads that were here were Native American trails, including Hightower Trail, Sandtown Trail, Decatur Street, that ran to eventually Atlanta. Those were all original native trails. Decatur was kind of the center of all that. And when it was founded, really the city around it founded it. So there really wasn't much here, it was just a small settlement. And because it became the county seat, all the other growth around it started to grow.
This was our home, this was our village. These are our streets. What we had was what I call our generational wealth, which was just wiped away under the guise of urban renewal and nothing to replace it. 1965, starting my junior year of high school, Decatur High School integrated. My mother, Sadie Sims, along with Miss Elizabeth Wilson, who became the mayor of Decatur, were the principal people involved in making that happen. There were 10 of us that went to the high school that year, but it was voluntary. But getting to Decatur High, I became well aware, I was a black female. Leaving my all-black neighborhood, walking through the projects, and going to Decatur High. It was like two different worlds. But it was not a detriment because I excelled at Decatur High the same way I did at Trinity. Decatur has always been, for me and for us and our family and growing up, welcoming to the extent that it could during the day and the times. This is where we played ball in the street. They had paved the street back then, it used to be dirt. But this is Mr. Beasley's yard. We were talking about they had the garden out there. Mr. Beasley was mean. So they played baseball and the ball go in his garden. And you couldn't go over there and get it. So everybody was like, who's gonna go? And you have to go get one of the parents to go talk to him or something, because he told us to stop hitting that ball in his garden. But that's where we played. They played football, baseball, soccer, everything, every sport under the sun. We lived in Decatur, but what was definitely a segregated Decatur. You knew what the rules were with the colored only, white only signs everywhere and stuff. But we were able to shop. We just knew where we needed to stand and where we needed to go, and you could buy what you needed to do, but as long as there were white people in the stores, you got waited on last. Having been born and raised here and grown up here, Decatur is still home to me. I love Decatur. I'll always promote it, tout it, and everything else.
I've been in Decatur over 50 years. I always tell them I'm a transplant Decaturian. I was reared in Macon, Georgia. So coming in Decatur, and that's where I reared my children, they had a lot of activities for children. My children was young at the time, and that's what really impressed me. I had been raised up going to Vacation Bible School, and their Vacation Bible School was really good for my children, and it gave them opportunities to get to see a lot and do a lot that I, at the time, was a single mother, wasn't financially able to do some of those things, so they really gave a lot of support for that. Well, when I moved in the neighborhood at the time, we as black people was quite a bit of the homeowners back then, and that definitely have changed. Actually, it's made a difference because it's not that close connection with you unless you kind of know your neighbor. You don't have that connection like we did then.
I lived in the city of Decatur since I was 12 years old. There was white flight in this city before the recent regentrification. I lived in this neighborhood. I went through the process of this church deciding to stay in the neighborhood rather than to flee to the suburbs, and that changed my life forever. I think that has made me continue to look for things that's worth standing up for. I've been working through the church here with Beacon Hill Alliance for Black Lives, and we were instrumental in having the obelisk for the Confederacy brought down because it was put up at a time at the first of the 1900s to intimidate African Americans from wanting to vote or from wanting to hold offices. So it wasn't even up for what a lot of people thought it was there for. It was either summer of 20 or 21. It had to go through all these processes of this group saying it was okay, the city saying it was okay, the county saying it was okay. I was at home, and one of our pastors put on Facebook to us that they're taking it down. It was something like 8 o'clock at night. It was very moving to be there. You know, I thought if I can just get close and be part of history and something that was that important to people.
Our dad was an alcoholic. He was mean as a snake. And he knocked the crap out of us many, many times. His mother, our grandmother, was the one responsible for finding the children's home. And I said, to this day, it saved my life. November 10th, 1971. We arrived about 1 p.m. and we met a gentleman named Mr. Cochran, Bill Cochran. He was the administrator. He told us to come inside, and he'd introduced us to our house parents. So I was actually pretty blessed that my 3 brothers was in the same cottage as me. Of course, my one sister went to her own cottage. On this side here was the boys' side of campus, and the girls were on the other end. So the boys used this field a lot. Rough house, I guess the best way to put it. It's also, there's a cut through the field down there. If you missed the bus, you had to walk to school. The children's home kids became very tight to each other, and we protected each other. And we got on each other's nerves, and we did all. There was, say it like it is, there was a fight. You can rest assured the other children's home kids were coming. They were going to protect one of their people. So that's the way we felt. We felt like a family. When I came to work here as a staff member, I was only going to stay 2 years. I really was. And but I fell in love being a staff member. And the reason I did, I figured out, hey, I can help another kid. I can figure out what's going on with them. And then it became a lot of fun because a lot of the students was like, hey, Mr. Joyce was a student in here. So he knows what you're going through. 27 years later, I was still here when the city bought the property. The commissioners have approved for 132 apartments to be built. The building of the affordable housing units obviously is to help folks. This beautiful playground we just put in, the kids love it. The track and field is coming. It's going to be an asset to the city. So in a lot of ways, it's still reaching out to community, still reaching out to people, not necessarily children, but all people. I feel like that's pretty important. This is home. This is not just a job, this is passion.
I'm 100% born and raised in Thailand, just became an American citizen a couple years. And right now we are own this business for 3 years. I'm start when I work in restaurant in Bucket, as a server. When COVID hit, the problem is everybody have bill to pay. You need to survive. So I decided to cook in my front house first.
Front yard?
Yeah, I cook at the kitchen and then I put as a donation, cook Thai food, 100% authentic Thai food. So after I cook at the kitchen, it's been successful and been looking around to open some restaurant and ended up come here.
We're trying to bring something more exciting, something new, and want people to learn about real Thai food better.
I try to bring everything like real Thai style, like even pad Thai we use 100% fish sauce and tamarind juice 100%, and all the curry we use 100% coconut milk. I used to be very, very nice person, kindness from my heart.
You still are.
I still are. I give all the food. People come, hey, can I have some food? I give some food. I give all the time, Whoever you give it, everything gonna come back to you. That's karma, right? So I think it's the homeless. That's the main problem with us right now.
We just wish that Decatur could do something or find a way to manage them or give them housing or some kind of thing that,
to support them better,
Yeah.
This restaurant used to be 2.5 star on Yelp and Google. Since we took over past 3 years, come up to 4 star. So that big change for us, people accepted what we did and they okay with it, so that's make us happy about this,
So this is a L'Arche Atlanta event. L'Arche Atlanta is a community of people with and without disabilities who share life together. And some of that life happens in residential houses around Decatur. We have 2 of them. One is in Oakhurst and one is near Woodland Gardens. Some of that life also happens at events like these. So we're here at Legacy Park. We have an artist friend who is talking us through some painting techniques.
Painting in the park. It's community, it's fun, it's conversation, all inspired by my little sister who loves art. She has a learning intellectual disability. She basically communicates through her paintings. So I'm a big fan of sharing the arts and seeing the joy and the camaraderie and the connections that can create.
We do events like this throughout the year. We have holiday parties, Valentine's dances, and these are just open to everyone, people of all ages, people of all abilities. Our whole vision is creating a world where everyone belongs, and our goal is to create spaces where people can engage in mutually transformative relationships so that togetherness, that relationship building is the key to what we're doing.
When I first opened my store in Decatur, it was completely different. Over the years, I've seen
so many people move in the community. I've seen so many new businesses move in the community. The name Blue Hanger came from, I would call it the blues. I was going through a hard time, very hard time emotionally. And I wanted to find something very positive to do with my time, to trade my blues for something nice. The community has always supported me, so I didn't want to go anywhere else with the business. You can tell they look for small businesses to support. And of course you have to hear the community. You got to hear what the ladies like to wear and the needs of the community. So I can choose, clothes that I love, but you also have to fit your demographic. And so you just kind of become a part of it. You cater to what people like. You cater to what you like, and it's like a marriage. My favorite part about working at Blue Hanger, I love when women come out of the fitting room and they smile because they look beautiful or they feel beautiful. I love helping women to see the beauty that's already in them.
My wife and I were having our first child, and we wanted to have a midwife birth, and there weren't many in the area around Atlanta at that time, but Decatur had one group practice that was into using midwives. So we came here through that process, and we just happened to get our first house on the, it would be the east side of Decatur. So that was fortuitous because that particular area is right where I'm teaching Tai Chi and training Tai Chi Qigong people right now. We call it now Legacy Park. This is going back to 1984, 85. This whole idea of Tai Chi, when I first started practicing it back in the early 80s, for myself was a matter of fitness. And then as I came closer to the Decatur Recreation Center folks, and they wanted to, they're asking me, would you please teach what you're learning? This is great. So they invited me in, and so we became more like a family. And so now we've developed this cooperative. And it's nice that you're getting older together and you have a practice that can reverberate with other people. That's why Tai Chi for Life Cooperative actually came into being, because we wanted to work with other organizations to be connected to others in the community to have similar goals as far as the environment, the land, being able to use land more wisely, and to understand that we're just a small part of the whole. So it's both a mindful meditation practice as well as pulling people in that have similar goals and objectives, so that we can all work together to make this a much more understanding, beautiful, sustainable community.
I've lived in Decatur on and off for about 30, 35 years, and I'm the arborist for the city of Decatur. In forested situations, if you've got diversity in a stand of trees, you've got different types of trees, different species. If you get a blight or a pest that attacks one type, it kind of takes out that particular individual, but you have all the remaining groups, so you don't lose the canopy all at one time. And what we've learned here in Decatur is through our diversity of people, we have so much stronger of a group. I have a strong connection to this place. I was local. I went to Southwest DeKalb High School and grew up in this immediate area. Spent a lot of time in my youth, my younger days, hanging out in downtown Decatur and watching these trees, watching the people. A lot of them I have personal connections to. Like the trees downtown, underneath one of them, I asked my wife to marry me underneath that tree. Back when we were younger, we were both at Eddie's Attic to see a show, a Wendy Buckaloo show. It was great. And I met her there. And I remember after that meeting thinking to myself, I want to be with someone like that. And we became friends and hung out, and you know, when it was right and I knew this is the one for me, there was no doubt in my mind. I walked her from Eddie's attic to that beautiful Dawn redwood tree, and I asked her to marry me under that tree. And so for me, that's a special tree, it's a special place, and it makes my connection to Decatur all the more special for me.
We strive to make a space where children understand that their interests, wants, curiosity, and opinion are significant and important, so that they understand that they are at the center of their reading experience. And one of the things that I say to kids, two things, both of which I think it's important, particularly kids from Decatur, to hear. You're not special. What we do together here is special. What we create together is special. Because I think that that's another important part of this, is understanding their place in the community. It's important, if you love a place, you're willing to invest in it. Local businesses don't happen without the investment of time and energy and, yeah, money from the city. Decatur is an expensive place to live. Taxes are high. And it's unfortunate in some ways that there are persons in the community that are getting priced out of the community. There's been a lot of development over the last 10 years. There's high rises going up, but I think that that heart is still here. Decatur works hard, and I think it needs to continue to work hard and be intentional, doing things like investing in its institutions, whether that is places like the library or places like local businesses like Little Shop of Stories, or public art like the murals or the art installations like in Oakhurst. I think those really help to keep Decatur local, indie, and community focused.
Ready, set, go.
We're the Team Jumpers!
We jump rope.
Double dutch.
We do double dutch.
It's like when two ropes go in a different way and then you go in.
It's not easy in the beginning, but like you just gotta know when to jump after the certain rope, and then you should continue.
To listen to the clicks of the rope.
And when you're doing it with a partner, like you can't wait too long to jump in because the other person that's jumping inside the rope,
they get tired.
Yeah.
It's kind of like solving the equation if you really think about it. You gotta think, their arms getting tired. How many swings you gotta wait until you can jump in? It's just the equation in my head.
When you're jumping double dutch, what's going through your mind?
That I have to focus on the rope and keep jumping, and if I jump on the rope, I have to try again. You always can go again.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, when I grow up, I want to be a nurse.
I want to have a job where I can help other people. I want to be own my own business.
I also want to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be a soccer player. Have my own dance studio or something. I want to be a cheer coach. I would like to create shoes, be a engineer, create stuff. I want to be as a teacher because you can tell your kids you can do math or reading, and you give them a lot of space to concentrate.
What do we need to do better as a community? Sir.
Being more kind and showing like compassion.
I feel like that, like sometimes like people could be mean to some people and then like they'll want to go home and like cry or something. And I feel like that's rude to do.
In like classrooms and stuff like that, like there'll only be like a certain amount of black people in your class, like only like 3 people, and like it's kind of weird sometimes, and like you kind of feel like left out and stuff like that. I feel like it should be like diverse and stuff like that.
I want people to learn about my history in the past too, or my ancestors too. I don't really know no facts about my people because they don't teach us about my people. We only have 1 month with Black History Month. It should not just be 1 month, it should be all months.
Because if we don't learn about our past, we're gonna keep on repeating it.
Anything that's important to you on your heart?
Love.
Love.
So what I think about love is that you should all treat each other equally, and you can't just like cut a pizza in like half and give a person a little piece and the other person the whole half. You have to give them equal signs, and that you should be nice to each other no matter what. If they're mean to you, always be nice to them.
The quarantines, we started in the pandemic, so this is our 3rd year, and we started in the pandemic because we had nothing better to do.
And so we would like do like performances like every Friday, and we'd spend every day here for like 3 or 4 hours just like learning new songs. And we were like, oh, like it'll end and then it'll be great, and then it never stopped.
We kind of wanted something to like have a creative outlet, and we knew a drummer named Henry, and then we met Nolan, and he's a really talented keyboard player.
We do a lot of like pop music. I usually like the 80s pop stuff we do. It's because it's like very catchy and like it's a lot of crowd pleaser stuff.
We love to play everything. We started out playing some classic rock. We've explored 2000s pop rock. But my favorite, recently we've been doing some Paramore songs, which I think really fit our band.
Not one of them involve me.
Porch Fest. It's one of my favorite gigs.
Citizens of Decatur just walk around and listen to all these bands playing around on people's porches.
We play at 5 o'clock, and I think we set up a couple hours before.
Usually I just go an hour early, set my stuff up, but before that, usually I'll just walk around and listen to the other bands.
You know, our paths probably wouldn't have crossed if it weren't for this connection. And we live separate lives outside of these Sundays that we get together, and then we come back and we play music, and it's great.
I've lived in Decatur all my life.
I think we're like a very diverse city compared to others.
There's so much art everywhere, there's so many murals, and I want it to stay that way, and I don't want, you know, all the houses to end up looking the same and feeling the same.
There's a lot of increasing housing prices. A lot of people really support affordable housing until it's next to them. And that's really sad, and I really want that to change. And building big houses that no one can afford is a bad way to do that and still have community.
My grandmother's from Alabama. My grandfather, he's from Afghanistan. My grandmother, my dad's side, is from the Philippines, and then my grandfather is from Iran. Decatur's very diverse, and it's really kind of helped me connect with people. I feel included because there's so much diversity, so many different people, different experiences.
I definitely think in marching band, a lot of it about it is the people. My dad did band, and I heard just all these amazing stories from him. And I was like, man, band is like what I want to do.
Honestly, just like picking up the flute for the first time was just like a very fun experience, and starting a band instrument is what really made it click.
my first homecoming parade experience. I was in the back on bass clarinet, and I was definitely a little bit just like, what's going on? What? I didn't know what to expect. It was a new world to me.
Everyone like cheers so loud for the band, and everyone loves hearing us play music. So it's just really exciting to be a part of something that brings so many people together.
I think having so many people with the same creative outlet and spending so many hours together has really created a bond and a bunch of friendships and connections.
Especially as drum major and not being a part of like one particular section, like you really get to share the whole success of the band and share everyone's emotions and help them be the best that they can be.
And then I think this year, standing at the front of it by myself, it was almost like a goodbye to it because it is my senior year.
It was just kind of like a full circle type moment since we like looked up to these seniors who we thought were so old and like experienced, and like now here we are kind of completing our band's journey, I guess.
I hope people, when they look back on their beginning band times or when they're in the same position as us as seniors, they'll just think about us.
I remember like back to when I was in 8th grade, the seniors then, I looked up to them and they were like very inspiring to me. So I just hope that I can be that for a younger band member.